Cheers. Hi, it's been a while. It's been about 6 months, I would say, and I'm really out of practice. So I did make some notes. And why have I been absent? Well, basically, been busy, lost my stitchy bug, nothing to talk about, a lot of talk about that I didn't want to talk about at the time. But now I thought, I have time, I'm feeling well, let's have a chat. How are you guys doing? I hope you are all well. It's been quite a ride the past year and more. I love seeing all the pictures of people getting their second shot in, which is amazing. I still have a little while to wait on that. But gladly, most people in my direct family that are most at risk have either been vaccinated or will be fully vaccinated in the next 2 weeks. So that's awesome. The situation in the Netherlands regarding the wonderful virus is okay. We've been on quite a long lockdown and are slowly coming out of it at the moment. But numbers are still relatively high compared to earlier. But we see the numbers in the hospitals going down, so that's a good thing. And slowly people are getting vaccinated, so that's also good. Hopefully by the end of the summer we will have reached 70% of people that have either been vaccinated or have antibodies. So, yay. Anyway, I haven't been stitching a lot and it's been a while since I made a video, so I just figured I will make a video where I talk about all the things that I've been doing in the past 6 months, which also includes gaming, which includes reading, which includes listening to podcasts, which includes stitching. Oh yeah, and I had the new kitchen made and the whole ground floor flooring redone. So it's been quite the adventure. So I'm going to talk about all these things. Oh, and I forgot to get my finishes, so I will have to get those out when I want to talk about those. But yeah, so my current situation is I haven't had a lot of time to do videos. I haven't felt like making videos because I hadn't, as I said, I lost my stitchy bug. But also I've been having a lot of migraines this year. So a lot of weekends I was just out, couldn't do anything. So combined with all of that, that's the reason why I've been away so long. Not that I have to have a reason, but just in case you are interested. So let's just show a few of my whips. Well, the whips that I could find. As I said, my ground floor has been. It's hard to speak English again. I had everything moved out of the ground floor to redo the flooring in the start of the year, February I think it was. So I've had to pack all my stitchy stuff as well, and I have been slowly moving stuff back in. Most of it is back in, but I'm still sort of finding how I want to reorganize things, because I got rid of a lot of regular books and stuff from my kitchen that I wasn't using, so I had free space that I sort of moved a lot of more stitchy stuff into anyway. Just gonna show you whatever whip I have in the bags and go from there on to, and then I can talk about which projects I've actually worked on in the past month and which are calling out to me. So this is going to be a long video probably, hopefully, because, you know, we need to catch up, right? So I'm just going to start with the bags because those are easiest to grab. And there's going to be a lot of taking stuff in and out of bags and putting them back in, but that's just part of the fun. So, yeah, the Scarlet Letter, the Black Gryphon. I had this in my stash for a while and had been planning to start it for a while, but hadn't got around to it. And then there was a stitch along, but I'm not sure which one it is. I will try and find it and put it up here somewhere. But I did start it because of a stitch along. It might have been just a Scarlet Letter stitch along. I think it was because Abby Bella Stitch started the Scarlet Letter for her birthday. And then we all sort of tagged along, whoever wanted to start or work on a Scarlet Letter piece. So I will put all the information about what I'm stitching on and what materials I'm using in the drop-down box, like normal, like usual. So I've been working on this, I think, at the start of the year, and I got quite a long way done. In fact, I got the whole griffin done, the black part of the griffin. The lighting is a bit weird as usual. I have to get used of that. But yeah, the thing is, I'm not planning to stitch anything else but the griffin. I was thinking about stitching those red markers down below, but then I was reading more about what they symbolize, and I actually don't want that in my home. So I'm not going to do that. I will do the outline of the griffin, which is in a brownish thread here, but I will use this gold to do the outline. So I need to do that and fill in the eyes and the mouth, and then it's done, basically. And I loved stitching this up. It went pretty quickly because it's only one color, and it is still an intricate pattern to follow, but it was a lot of fun to do. So now that I'm seeing this, I actually want to finish it. So yay, good for making videos, because that might get my stitchy bug back. So that's one. Now let's see what's in this bag. I don't know. Oh yeah. So this I picked up in April, and in May. May 4th is our National Day of Remembrance, I guess is the translation. It's where we commemorate those who have died in combat or civilian death during and after World War II within our country or in peaceful missions abroad. So I picked up my Anne Frank piece again. This is also part of my participation in the Stitch Asia cell, where we are working on pieces that have Asian themes or Asian designers or Asian companies behind them. Gera is, I hope I'm saying this right, what's her name again? Kyoko Maruoka, and I think she's Japanese. I hope that I'm not saying this wrong. But yeah, love this piece, and I saw on Instagram Peppy is Happy, who had a Dutch translation of these words, because this is a quote from Anne's diary. So, and she was very kind to send me her conversion for those words, so I'm going to use those. And I have done quite a bit on this. Also, because I work on this every May 4th at least, and then I take out this, which is a identification card that you get when you go to the Holocaust Memorial Museum in Washington, D.C. You can walk through the exhibit, and if you pick up one of these at the start, there are stages in the exhibit where you can read a bit about the person and what they were going through during that time. And at the end you learn if your person did make it through the World War or not, which is very educational, powerful. whatever. So this is Ruth's card. I'm not gonna say her full name, but every year I take her out and make her part of my commemorance. And this year I got a lot further done than last year. Last year I managed, hang on, trying not to drop any needles anywhere. But last year I managed up to, starting at the bottom up to her name, I think. So this year I did the whole picture of Anne writing in her diary and the borders with the chestnut flowers and the peace doves. The chestnut was the tree that she could see from her window, the only thing that she could see looking out of her skylight window. Yeah, I love it. I love the colors. It's really, when you picked out the colors and you look at each one individually, you think, wow, that's not going to work. But yeah, it works. Always trust the designer. So yeah, I just have the rooftop to be done and then the words to go in. But that might have to wait till next year. I don't know. So there's that one. Oop. Let's see what's in bag number 3. I have no clue. Oh yeah. I think I started this at Christmas last year. The pattern was a gift. It's called Blue Roses and it's by Art Stitch. It's like, I never know if it's Art Deco or Art Nouveau. I think it's Art Nouveau. But I love this, and it's like stylized roses. And I started this at Christmas and I finished, not even finished, I worked on one of the roses and this is how far I got. It's a fun stitch, but there's a lot more color in there, a lot more color changes in there than you might think looking at it at first. So I guess that's why I didn't work on it for a while. I don't know. This one I do know what it is because I recognize the frame. So this is another stitch along that was started, I don't know when, quite a while ago, with Stephanie from Lindy Stitches. And it's a long dog sampler stitch along, so anyone who wants to work on or start a long dog sampler can use the hashtag long dog along. And you can join me because Stephanie already finished her months and months ago. I'm still working on mine. This is the one I picked, Rain Dance. I love this design. Last time you saw it, I think I was about here. All this top bit was done. So I worked on, I think I worked on this corner and I got quite a lot done this year. So here's where we're at the moment. You can't quite see the top, but this is, you see the bottom right hand corner is almost completely done. I just have to put the border in and a bit of the border here. But I think I have about 2 pages left on this project and then it's done. It's one of the things that I pick up and then I go crazy on one of the or more of the little patterns, and then you can have little mini finishes, which is nice. And yeah, I see that I'm not quite done with this bird yet because I do need to fill in some pieces still. But yeah, love this. Absolutely love this. I'm doing this over 1. Normally you would do this over 2, so it would be a lot bigger. But I like the effect of the over 1 and the smaller size, which means I have more space on my walls to put more stuff. So that's the last of the tiny bags. So that means we're moving on to scroll frames. I have a few things that have been long time projects that I keep on scroll frames. But before we do that, let's just mix it up a bit and talk about things I have read in the last, I don't know, 6 months. I'm gonna have to open up Audible because I have such a hard time finding time to read an actual physical book anymore. I have found that any kind of podcast or audiobook is so much more easy to put on and do other things like cleaning the house or doing gardening or doing the dishes or whatever, or driving, which I haven't been doing a lot of, but or you know, riding my bike, my stationary bike, things like that. It just feels like you're doing a lot more and getting a lot more information in that way. So I have been reading on Audible. Let's see if I can find the things I've been reading. There were a few really good ones and one that I actually had to stop reading and return because, oh my gosh, I can't remember which one it was. Maybe it'll be on my Goodreads profile, but I can't see it anymore in my library because it's out of my library. So let's look at finished. Yeah, I've been reading a few just regular Agatha Christie books, just for fun. Mysterious Mr. Quinn was one of them. It's just sort of a bundle of short stories, which is, I don't think I'd read it before. I don't think it's one of the best of Agatha Christie by far, but it was entertaining. I read, let's go back, these I think I talked about before, Correspondence by Tim Murphy. Waiting for it to show up, which was really interesting. It is about various families currently living in the United States of America, but having a immigrant background, and also, you know, a bit about their backstories, where they came from, why they moved, but also situations like, gosh, it's been a while. I think it was the Gulf War, where one of the characters is a news correspondent, and they go abroad with their own background from being an immigrant from that region, and their take on what was going on and what they were experiencing there as a correspondent in the war zone. Yeah, it was really interesting to learn all these different ways of looking at the same thing, basically, and ways of being American or being a citizen of the world, I guess. Yeah, definitely recommend it. It was trigger warning, there is violence in this, so you know, just so you know. Then this is going in random order, but I also read The Fault in Our Stars, which is a young adult novel by John Green. This is the first novel I read of him. He is mainly a young adult writer, and this is a book about young adults who are going through cancer and may or may not come out healthy. And it was also a love story, and it was just, for a young adult novel, I thought it was really good. It also is set partly in Amsterdam, which is our capital, so it was fun to see an American's perspective on my capital city. And recognize, you know, it's not for if you're reading a lot of foreign authors, it's not often that you're reading a book that describes settings that you know, like geographical settings that you've been to. So it was fun to have a book that had some of that in it, that you actually can say, oh yeah, I know where that is, I've seen it, I can picture it in my head, what it looked like. And it was, oh god, yeah, again, trigger warning. It is, I was crying by the end, so yeah, it was pretty good read. Then, oh God, another one. There's a lot of trigger warnings here. I read Beloved by Toni, Toni Morrison. Oh my gosh. This is read by the author. Um, I, I have to say, I think she's a better writer than she is a performer of her own work. But oh my God, Beloved is an insane book, but also so good and so interesting again. It is about, well, the main character is a runaway former enslaved woman, formerly enslaved woman, and her daughter, and she had to make some sacrifices before she could escape, and it is more about her life after that escape and what is haunting her. And it is fascinating. I absolutely love this book. I can highly recommend reading this. It is the first book that I've read of Toni Morrison, but I am excited to read more. That's, I think, unless there's something on my... I'm just checking to see. Oh yeah, I am currently reading. I'm just checking to see if there's something that I read on my other device and it's not in here. No, I think this is what I've been reading. Excuse me. I'm currently reading a series of lectures. The Great Courses, which is a website where you can actually view, like there's videos of the lectures where you can sign up for and pay for. This is the audiobook version, so it doesn't have any of the visual aids in it, but still it's really interesting. It's called Warriors, Queens and Intellectuals, 36 Great Women Before 1400. It's fun. It's short lectures about a specific woman in history that had some kind of significant influence on government, science, war, whatever. It was a bit heavy. I'm about halfway, 2/3 now of the first bit was, in my opinion, a bit heavy on the Christian saintly sacrifice type of women, which sure fine, but I was missing a bit of diversity in it. It was also a lot of ancient Greek and Roman and Christian women, but now it has more and more world view, in the sense that there are more and more Asian, African. I'm not sure if I had any South American or Middle American women yet, but that might come. I hope they will come. And it's been really interesting just to have some more insight in some sort of forgotten persons from history and what they contributed. So yeah, that's just fun, and it's short lectures, so you can just squeeze them in easily. So that's what I have been reading. Now let's move on to my next set of whips and talk about. Let me have a look if I can find the pattern. Yeah, I'm so prepared. So, one of my favorite designers, ink circles. I am working on Anatolia. Last time I showed this, I think it was somewhere around here that I had done this, how do you call this, arch and the inside, but I had to fill in the patterns over here, and that's what I've been doing. And I will show you that bit, but I've already moved up the scroll bars because I am planning to work on this next week, hopefully. But as you can see, all those patterns have been filled in, so all I have to do is the large section of full coverage at the bottom, and then I'll be done. So I'm looking forward to working on this, see how far I will get this round. Before I move the scroll bars, I did make a full picture of the whole project, so as far as I've gotten to, and I will try and remember to insert this here while I'm editing. Hopefully that worked. Oh God, I don't even know if I have my editing software on my laptop anymore. Guess we'll have to find out. What's in this bag? Oh, yeah. I don't think I worked on this actually, but you know. My full coverage piece, Takuna Beach. This is out of print as far as I'm aware. It's by Character Creations. You might be lucky and hunt it down through eBay or a local needlework store. This is a reproduction in cross stitch of an original painting of a New Zealand view, and I would love to go there one day when we can all safely travel again and I can afford it, and yeah, I just want to be able to travel again. That would be awesome. Oh, okay. So apparently I stuck this. So I am quite a long ways down, as you can see. I'm still working in diagonals, and what I've basically been doing is I had patches of diagonals filled in here, and I added quite everything until everything was filled out again. So yeah, as you can see, the tree is growing. I need a little bit more of the tree, and then all I have left is beach and sea and air, which will go a lot faster, I think, because the tree has a lot of confetti stitching. So I'm not always in the mood to work on that. But yeah, loving this. But I don't think, I might have worked on it in late December, early January. I'm not sure. I haven't been keeping records also, so yeah. What's this? Oh yeah. This is a new start. I'm not sure when I started it. I'm sure I did record it though. Make a note of it when I started it. But this is... Oop, hang on. Everything's falling. This is Cornwall Cottage sampler. And I started this top border. I have been thinking about what to do with this alphabet because I don't like it. And I don't plan to stitch it. And Abby Ballastitch gave me a brilliant inspiration because she put out a alphabet sampler that she designed herself, which also included a Filipino language alphabet. And I asked her about it, and she thought it would be fine to add it, so I might just do that as soon as she puts it up for sale. I'm gonna grab me that. So yeah, that's the design, and this is how far I've gotten. It's about 6 or 7 colors that you use, mainly variations of green, and I absolutely love this. I enjoy working on this. This is a first time that I'm using Hardanger fabric for cross stitch, and I really enjoy it. So there. Let's see if I can get this back into the bag. Oop. Lots of thread everywhere. Okay. Cheers. It's still, I'm just checking because I don't know if my phone will record longer than half an hour, but it seems to, so that's good. It would be very annoying if I had to do all this over again. What's in here? Oh, you haven't seen this in ages. I haven't seen this in ages. It's another long dog. God, I forgot I was working on this. I haven't worked on this for more than a year because I didn't work on it at all last year. I haven't worked on it this year. But it is the F by Cross Stitch Long Dog Samplers. I don't know, I think I got distracted. Because this is where I'm at. I'm still a long way from even getting to the halfway mark. But yeah, I do love it. I love the colors. They're popping really well today. Even though there's a bit of a blue effect on my camera, on my screen. But yeah, love this, but honestly, I don't know, this is not sparking joy for me. So I'm not, I don't know, not ready to pick this back up anytime soon. I don't know, this might have to become, I might have to take it off of the scroll bars altogether. Because, I don't know, it's taking up space. Let's see, what's in bag number last? Let me think if I can remember what this has to be. Oh, this is my chatelaine, has to be. Yeah. This is my chatelaine project that I've been working on for a few years now. It's the Rajasthan Lotus Temple. Absolutely love this. Last time you saw this, I was about here. So everything on to the top, like over halfway done. So I'm close to getting a finish on this. And last year I worked on it during Mania, like a Monogamania project. I haven't even thought about Mania, and then I realized it's already May, so I have no plans to do it this year. But I did work on it this year, and I got quite a bit done. I moved the scroll bars to get work done, so as you can see, I'm getting into flower territory, which is the bottom part of the design. Oh, those blues are really coming out nice. So yeah, as you can see, I still need to do, I have to finish the cross stitching, and I have to do back stitching on some of the details. I did do most of the specialty stitching that was required along the way, and then beading. So there's still quite a bit to do, but this one has, of all the chatelaines I want to stitch, has the least beads. So, oh, this is something else I might want to pick up soon. Okay. Good sign. Yep, let's put this back in here. So that's the last of my current projects. Let's see, what can we talk about next? Yeah. So besides reading and stitching, I have also been gaming, and I'm gonna try and find information on the games I've been playing, because there's a few that I really enjoyed, and I want to talk about here. Oh boy, now I just have to find it first. So Yeah. Okay. So there were a few games that really caught my eye that I really enjoyed. Some are longer games, some are shorter games, but I just thought I'd mention them just in case. I know there's a few people that watch my videos that also enjoy gaming, so you never know. So a few games that are more like world exploration combined with puzzle games that I want to mention. There's Infra, which is you are a structural engineer and you are assigned to a city where there's all kinds of maintenance issues, which sounds really boring when you say it like that, but you're sent out to different sites to check the structural integrity of the buildings there. And along the way you discover something about the history of the city and what's actually going on and why these buildings are damaged or being damaged. And it's really fascinating and it's really fun to do, and because it has no combat or anything. It's really about trying to figure out ways to get into buildings when they're closed off, or trying not to get electrocuted, or and exploring dilapidated buildings. There's a channel that I follow on YouTube, The Proper People it's called. That's two guys that do urban exploration, which is where you go into abandoned factories or abandoned hospitals or abandoned schools or other types of buildings, and you just explore them safely, of course. And I didn't know that it was called that when I did that a long time ago, a few times, and I really enjoyed that exploration of abandoned buildings. So that's one of the things that I liked about playing Infra. So if you're into that, you might enjoy that game. What else? Other exploration games that include puzzles or, small little quests to fetch things for people or fix things for people were East Shade, which was fun, which is set in an imaginary world. And Abduction, which is by the makers of the Mist series, and you can tell it's a lot of fun. Both were a lot of fun, but Abduction to me, because I'm a huge fan of the Mist series, and that's how I got into gaming in the first place. So yeah, that was chef's kiss, I can say that. Other things that fall into that category are Room, which is like a puzzle game that progresses into you have to figure out how to get in or out of certain rooms. And then we come into a different kind of category of games, which is puzzle games that are also about artificial intelligence and the philosophy behind artificial intelligence and the rules of, like, the Turing principles. Which is actually the name of one of the games, the Turing principle. Oh, sorry, the Turing test. And the other one is the Talos principle. I enjoyed both games. I did not finish the Talos principle because I got bored. For me, it's a bit too many puzzle levels and a bit too little storytelling clues to keep me interested in finishing the puzzles. So I didn't finish Talos. I might go back and finish it, but yeah. And then two really big open world games that involve exploration. Lots and lots of things to keep you distracted from the main quest, and a very interesting how do you say it? World building, I guess is the right term. So one of them is Skyrim. Yes, I have not played Skyrim before, and it's a very old game. This is the Elder Scrolls 5. I have not played any of the Elder Scrolls games before, and I wish now that I've had, because, oh my god, it's fun. It's a bit like the Witcher games in the sense that you have lots of side quests, lots of world to explore, lots of things that are not related to quests, but little things you can just find in the world and that just are fun to explore. It does involve combat, but it's not really not very challenging at all. The leveling is really good, and the world design is really fun. It is interesting because it also offers some quest choices that, you know, you're not sure if you want to make those choices. Either choice is not ideal. And you can totally skip some things if that is not into, doesn't fit into the role that you are playing out. So there are quests where you can be the good guy, and there are quest lines where you can be more of a bad guy. So different kind of moral decisions you can make, and it doesn't affect the main plot if you do them or not. So that's really interesting and fun, and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of fun gameplay. And the last one that I wanted to mention is Subnautica Below Zero. I played the original Subnautica a few years ago, and I absolutely fell in love with the game. It's set in an underwater world mainly. This new game, Below Zero, I had the early access version, so I had played a few times through what I could. The definite version has just been released, so now I'm playing it to see how the game ends, because that's the part that's been inserted just recently. And I love it. It's crafting, it's exploring, and this time below and above water level. I thought the way the story progressed in the first game was a lot more fun and a lot more intriguing. This game is a bit more, where do I start? And sometimes it's a bit too directive. So I kind of, yeah, I wouldn't give it as many stars as the first game yet. I don't know how it finishes. That might change my mind. But yeah, love playing that. So that's about gaming. Now I'm going to have to get up and find my finished pieces. So I'm going to pause. Yeah, that worked. Yes, it did. Okay, I have a box that I store my finished pieces in. I'm sure I finished a few of them before the end of last year, and I included them in my YouTube Rewind, Flosstube Rewind video that I make every time at the end of the year. So I might be showing things double, but that's just how it is, right? So, biggest finish of last year, I think it was last year, is The Garden Party by Mirabilia, which I renamed the Bee Sisters, because as I was stitching along, I realized it would be very fun to just tweak it a little bit so that it would be reflective of Olivia and Elena B, who are also on Flosstube. And that was really fun. And this is, I finished the beading and everything, so it is done, and I haven't seen it in a while. So it's kind of nice to see it again, because here it is, yay! The thing is though, that this fabric is warped, so it is slightly longer than it is wide in the sense of how the thread count goes. And that might be because I stretched it during stitching, but it might also have come from the dyeing process. But anyway, the Bee Sisters are already very tall and very slim, but now on my version they're even more tall and slim. And what I did as personalization is I changed the hair colors. And as you can see, there used to be in the original design a little bird in the hand of Olivia, and now I put in a little gnome, and I gave Elena a glass of champagne that she is toasting the gnome with. Oh, and you can also see the beading here. Yeah, really, really nice. The skin is over one. And long, 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 long dress and the finish. This was so much fun. It's been years in the progress, but it's finally done. Now I just have to find a way to finish it. When I was working on it, I wasn't sure if I wanted to include the border, but it does nicely frame the whole picture, so I did end up stitching it. These flowers are so much annoying to stitch because there's a lot of color changes, but I do like the end result because it does look like a beautiful garland of roses, as well as here beautiful leaves. Yeah, and I do like that I chose a darker fabric because those lanterns really pop. And yeah, gnomes don't come out until it's dark, right? I don't know, I'm not the expert, but yeah, that was a lot of fun. And yeah, a lot of the finishes are not yet. I don't know what this is. Oh, I don't know what I've showed. I'm just trying to show you what's in my finishes box. This is HL's Moth by Kathy Barrick. I started this with Emma Stitch M on the same piece of fabric. We cut it in half and each used a side. I did change some colors in here, but yeah, really like the results. So, what else is in this box? I see something else that I really enjoyed stitching. This was in part of the Representation Matters cell, Diversity, Inclusion cell. This is based on a Matisse painting, I think Lady in Blue, and I made it into a dark skinned lady. This is from a book by Brenda Keyes, I want to say. I will leave the information in the description. It might also be in my year in review video. Let's see what else is in here. Oh yeah. Well, this is, I still need to construct it, but I finished working on the autumn box and all the accessories by Victoria Sampler. So it has the top of the box lid and then the sides and a little scissor fob with a front and a back and a little pincushion. And that's it. And I stitched it on various pieces of fabric. And this is some of the work from the scissor fob and the pincushion. This is I bought the accessory pack for this at a really good discount from so and it was still a company. So I used that and that was awesome, and I love that the fact that it has a lot of different kind of stitching, and this was the first time that I tried ribbon stitching. Absolutely fun to do. This has beads as well. This is the lid, and these are all the sides of the lids. And the space is the required space that the pattern gives you to make sure that you have enough room for the finishing. So that's going to be fun to see how that turns out. But I have not had any time or inclination to actually finish it. Fully finish it. And that's, oh no, that's another thing. Oh, yeah, that's an old one. This was a gift, a birthday gift from Lisa when I was in New Jersey for the first Flosstube retreat, New Jersey. And this came with all the materials, including scissors and beads and everything to finish it. And I finished the stitching over one on this really tough, I don't know, it's like cardboard almost, linen. It's not focusing, but this is a bird of paradise. No, how is it? Yeah, bird of paradise. We call it paradise flower. This one, I love this flower. It's one that you see often in the tropics, and it always reminds me of certain trips that I took, including the trip to New Jersey. So it was a lot of fun to stitch. Yeah, that's it. That's all the things in my finishing box. So that is, well, there's one more, but I can't show you because that's my round bobbin piece that we started not last year, I think, but the year before, and then COVID happened. So I think the last two persons still have to finish because we were too scared to send things on because things were getting lost in the mail and mail was taking forever. I think things have settled down now, so it might be safe again to start it up, but I'll have to talk about it with the girls. So, let's see what else is on my list. Yeah, we did that. And, oh yeah, purchases. Well, I have not been buying a lot. Actually, I cancelled my Silk of the Month at the start of this year that I had from Silks for You. Not that I didn't enjoy that subscription, I did, but I was getting to a point where I have most of their colors, and it was getting a bit repetitive in the sense that I got a lot of blues and purples, and I got more blues and purples, and I was kind of, my stash is full. So it was fun, and I will definitely find ways to use the beautiful silks that I got through that subscription, but I thought, well, I'm gonna put my money somewhere else. I haven't found a new subscription yet that I want to sign up for because, as I said, I have a lot of stash. And what made me even more aware of during last year and this year and the situation that we've been having is that, there's ways to spend your money and there's ways to spend your money. And currently I prefer spending my money on making the world a better place. Let's put it like that. I have enough stitchy stuff. I think there's causes that deserve a little bit more money than they're getting, so that's where I've been putting my money. But that did not stop me from, I still continue my Inspirations magazine subscription. This was the edition that I got last. I would have to look for the December version, but oh my God, this is a great one. I will show you a few things that are in here that are just absolutely insane. I like this three-dimensional stitch. I will show the close-up because, oh my God, this is all stitched and it's three-dimensional. And you can stitch it if you have this copy because they give you all the instructions, all the materials list, all the patterns, everything. Not that I'm going to do that anytime soon, but I can if I want to. Oh my God, I just find it so intriguing that people can, and there was a really interesting story about this person who is stitching all kinds of flowers on everything in freehand, and that was just so interesting. Oh yeah, and this one, this is a project that's in the book as well. And what else? Oh yeah, these gorgeous fobs are in here. This is all embroidery, so it's not only cross stitch or not just cross stitch. It's all kind of embroidery needlework. Let's say that, that's easier. It's all types of needlework techniques. Oh God, yeah, there was, I still have to read the article, but there's an article about a designer of, I think an Indian designer who uses a lot of embroidery on their gowns, and oh my God, that's a lot of work. I mean, Jesus, look at all the beading here. That's all beading. I mean, she's gorgeous, but the dress is insanely gorgeous. What else? Yeah, there was another Jacobean pattern in here. And I think Arlene was working on a project like that recently, like needle painting, silk painting. And this is by Trish Burr. Really cute crewel work. Oh yeah, this one. I love, this is again three-dimensional, the sea turtle on the beach with some shells. This is three-dimensional. Oh gosh, yeah, it's, the name is apt. I mean, I can't say anything else. It's not cheap if you want to look into it. I think there's a digital version as well, which is cheaper. I get this through an English distributor, a UK distributor. I'm curious to see what it will do to the pricing now that Brexit is final, because I might have to pay more custom, but let's see what happens. For now, I'm really happy that I get it. Then, the one thing, I did purchase some digital patterns. I purchased some patterns from Michelle Bandistitchi and from Modern Folk Embroidery. Go check them out, they're fabulous. I mean, anyway, this is a out of print dimensions kit that I happened to just look for on eBay, and it happened to be from a European seller, which meant no customs and cheaper shipping, and they had a very reasonable price, so I bought it. And you might say, didn't you already have one? Yeah. I I adopted a project in progress of this. And when I wanted to start it, I discovered that it didn't include all the threads. There was one thread pack missing, which is fine. I just had to do some little puzzling to figure out what I needed. But then I was planning to start it this year for the Stitch Asia Stitch Along. And when I took out the fabric and I was measuring the top, which is already stitched, the fabric is not the Ada that it comes in the kit. It is a even weave fabric, nondescript. I don't know where it came from. But I noticed when I was measuring the top that it was bigger than recommended on the pattern. So that triggered me. So I counted the threads. And it turns out it's like I think it's on a 32 count fabric, and this is on an 18 count Ada. So if you convert it to even weave, it should be a 36 count. It might be the reason why they stopped this project. Because if you know that you're starting on a too low of a thread count, you know you might run into problems finishing it with the threads that are provided to you. So that's why I started looking again. But now I have two of these. So I am thinking, and I want to gauge the interest in this. So please leave a comment if you think you might be interested in participating. I would like to do some kind of auction of the already started project. And I would like the proceeds to go to Asian Raisins, which is a Dutch organization, well, an initiative. It's not really an organization, it's an initiative that has started to work more on sharing stories of Dutch people with Asian heritage and discrimination and their experience with that in the Netherlands, and to raise more awareness of that, what is going on, and to try and educate people. And I thought that might be a good way to spend the money from an auction of that existing adopted whip. And I just want to know if you would be interested in bidding on something like that, knowing that it's not complete and knowing that it is started on the wrong fabric. Let me know, what's your thought on that? So that's all the stitchy stuff that I had to talk about. I think there might be things popping up as we continue. And we made it past an hour. Get some hydration, move around a bit. I know, it's a long haul. And yes, my coffee is cold, and no, I don't care. I have good coffee. Let's see. Yeah, so I have a new kitchen with functioning appliances, which is nice because for the past year I had no functioning dishwasher, and for a lot longer I had no functioning oven. So I have both now, which is really nice. The how do you say it? The work on the kitchen did have some unexpected turns, as with every kind of building project that you do, which included that not all of the appliances were delivered on time. So I had to deal with a no fridge for a bit. Well, I had a fridge. They gave me a small fridge as ways of compensating. So I had a smaller fridge than I was used to, but that was fine. But it still meant that the kitchen wasn't finished and the dishwasher was also late, of course. But yeah, everything has been installed. There's one thing with a little slight, how do you say, what's the word? I'm trying to think of the word. It's like one of the handles is scuffed. It's not pristine, so they will have to replace that. But I'm hoping that will be someday soon. But that's not stopping me from using the kitchen, because that's just a door that has to be replaced. But other than that, I'm really happy. And I didn't realize how much I missed having a fully functioning kitchen, because I have been cooking up a storm. Also inspired by a new cookbook that I so recommend if you're into any kind of Asian cuisine, Indian, Thai, Vietnamese, Indonesian, Chinese, Japanese, Korean. You're gonna love this. This is by Mira Soda. She lives in the UK. I think her heritage is Indian. But she has multiple cookbooks out, and she writes for, I think, one of the UK newspapers. She has a regular cooking column. Go look her up. Because she has normal recipes as well. But this book is entirely vegetarian and also includes some vegan options. I have switched to a mostly non-meat diet for years already, but I never buy meat anymore, so I rarely eat meat now. So I thought this was a great way of diversifying my regular vegetarian cooking. And oh my God, if you love flavor, you're in for a treat. I can tell you, just buy this book, please. I have tried a lot of the recipes already, and almost all of them are my favorites. I have not come across anything that I did not like. there are some things that now that I've cooked them, I might tweak them a bit. Like some things were a bit more salty than I was expecting, or some things in my oven required a bit more time than I was expecting based on the recipe. But other than that, love it. She does use a lot of foreign Asian ingredients that some were harder for me to source than you might have trouble elsewhere. I know that, for instance, in the UK, there's a lot bigger Indian community than we have in the Netherlands. So some of the Indian spices were harder for me to source. But I found a few great online stores that source all kinds of spices, and I'm set now. Once you have a little bit of stash, you don't need to go and look for them every time. So yeah, love that. And most of the spices are, shelf fine for shelf storage for quite a long time. So, and yeah, absolutely love this. And I'm in luck that we have a really good chain of Asian Oriental stores, supermarkets, where a few of them are nearby me, so I have no problem sourcing fresh stuff as well. Definitely recommend. And I have been fermenting. I started doing that last year. Been continuing pickling and fermenting this year. And I made ketchup for the first time. Highly recommend. It's so easy to do. And the results is great. I think I used a recipe by Joshua Weissman, who is on YouTube as well. Highly recommend his channel if you enjoy cooking and fermenting stuff. I made pickles like gherkins and acar, which is an Indonesian cabbage-based pickle. Love that. I haven't made a new batch of kimchi yet, but I need to. And what else have I been fermenting? Oh, a hot sauce. And what else? Oh, I made Nutella. Oh my God, I got a food processor. Forget Nutella. Nutella is much better. And I got the recipe from Andong, which is another YouTuber. I'll link the channels below. But yeah, absolutely gorgeous. Love it. And I don't like sweet stuff, but oh my God, that Nutella is crazy. Crazy good. What else? Yeah, I've been baking bread again. I used to bake my own bread, but then my oven died, so it's been a while, and I love the fact that I can do that again. Oh, and I made chili oil. Oh, so good. Oh my God. Yeah, maybe we should start a separate series on fermenting and cooking, right? Which is basically me repeating recipes made by others, but anyway. So I'm just going to link those people below. Yeah, there's two more things that I want to talk about before we end this incredibly long video. Because there's a lot of things going on in the world today and for the past year and more. And I do find it frustrating that some people don't want that kind of subject to be part of Flosstube videos. A lot of people have said it before. This is my space where I create my videos. If you subscribe or watch my videos, apparently you have interest in what I have to say. That's fine. But I will try and talk more about things that are going on that I think are important to talk about, because as we've experienced, if we don't talk about things, nothing really changes, and we need change. So in that respect, I got an interesting email a while ago from someone who said I really don't know how to judge the news feeds that I am seeing and what to believe and what not to believe. And we had a little bit of email traffic about that. And what I realized is that one of the things that a lot of people have never learned in school or whatever is how to do critical thinking and what that involves. So I would really encourage you all to have a look into that. Just Google it and see what you can come up with. But the other thing that I really want to talk about is how do you form your worldview and how do you inform yourself? I don't know, there was something coming up, so I don't know if what's going on here, but anyway, something popped up on my screen, that's what I mean. So I'm just gonna talk about what I do, and I would love to hear if you have any tips that you do or things that you do that I might find helpful to help inform me, and maybe some things that I talk about will help inform you about things that you could do that you're not doing at the moment. So one of the things that I do is I listen to and read news from different sources. That means that I listen and read news sources from different publishers in my own country, but also from different countries. So for instance, there are podcasts that I listen to that come from Europe, that come from the UK, that come from the United States, that not always offer or talk about subjects in the way that I agree with, but it is good to hear other people's arguments or statements and match them against what you know and what you believe, to see if maybe you learn something or maybe you need to adjust how you look at things. So that's one thing I would recommend, is try and look for news outside of your normal channels and try and diversify the media that you take in. So for instance, I've also tried to include more authors, publishers, podcasters that have a diverse background. Like they come from different countries, they come from different ethnicities, they have different sexuality or gender, or so in that way I try and learn about different perspectives from different points of view from different people. That's basically what I'm trying to do. And I would love to hear if you're doing that and what you're using, or and if you want to maybe have next time we could maybe have a discussion about recommendations for podcasts or news sites or whatever. That would be interesting to know if you're interested in that. Yeah, that's basically the last thing I wanted to say. Besides that, there have been a few people that have tried to get in touch with me or to stay in touch with me. In the last half year, I got some wonderful emails and postcards, and I have been so slacking. I'm so sorry. So that doesn't mean that I don't care about you. It just means that I am a very much an introvert and I need all my energy to stay sane in the last few months. So don't worry, I'm going to be fine. I'm fine, but I might not respond any day soon to any inquiry or. That doesn't mean that it's not appreciated. It is totally appreciated, but it's just more than I can handle at the moment. And it'll be better. I'm sure of it. So that's the last thing I was gonna say before we ended at over an hour. I hope you enjoyed. I hope that I will be stitching again regularly. It's been on and off for the last half year, and whenever I feel like it, I will put up another video. Please be well, please be safe, and please have fun. Please keep stitching whenever you want to, and yeah, that's it. Bye guys.